to catch the traffic.
And that was about 1938. I think that was about 1938.
I don't know about, I didn't keep track of the miles of it.
Now, do you remember that store when it was down in Sligo at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not that store.
But the company store.
Yes, that store down was a big brick building.
Yeah. So you used to go in it ever?
Oh, yeah.
Did they have reasonable prices and stuff, or did they try to...
Just, it was a big store. You didn't go to Salem and buy stuff then. You went to the store at Sligo.
They had everything you needed?
Had everything you needed.
Were the prices reasonable?
Well, that I don't know. What
I mean,
reasonable.
did people feel like they were getting took or not?
How'd I know? We just had to buy it and forget about it. We couldn't go to different places to shop.
Was it a credit kind of a thing, or did you actually pay money?
You could do either one.
And I guess they would probably just take it out of the person's check.
Well, see, when Dad went to Flat River, him and Uncle Bert went down there to get, and they got a job at mines. And Opal and Edna lived this next street down, which is our cousin. They had it made up as arch. We go get what we wanted to eat. Well, we didn't know it, because we always bought stuff there, and Dad paid for it when he come in. But Sis went up to get some food, and he had a sign on the door, no credit. Well, we didn't get nothing, because she thought that meant us too, but it didn't.
So she went back home, and they lived on a few,
And we
potatoes.
divided what we had. We go down to the branch and get the big old crawdads, which we call them shrimp now, but the tail was that long, white meat. We get them things, and we had plenty to eat, but after Dad come home, we told him that we couldn't get nothing up there. He sat down and cried because we thought we didn't have enough to eat.
Yeah, it was a hard time.
Back then, every other day, a big old knee-high soda truck. That's all you had them days was knee-high, any color you want. He come through there and people soda, arches.
How much was a bottle of soda, do you remember?
I think it was a nickel.
You used to make a lot of money killing squirrels, didn't you? Selling them?
Well, you kill anything you want.
Somebody would buy it.
We didn't sell them, we eat them. Turkeys, squirrel, whatever we want, go get it.
Rabbits. It was rabbits you sold. You raised rabbits.
You used to sell all rabbits you wanted.
Yeah.
No,
The people
we didn't raise them, the wild rabbits.
Okay, but the people in Sligo would eat them, or the
Oh,
restaurant
yeah.
would buy them or something.
Yeah.
What was the deal on that?
Hmm?
Did you ever sell rabbits to the restaurant?
No, when Lawrence Johnson lived down here, after we come out
So
here.
the road that went up to the old hotel, how did you get there if you wanted to drive up there? Did it wind around the hill in front and come out?
No. You go up the creek like you're going on the creek. Then another road goes to Dillard.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, top that hill there, Dillard. Road turned off, went right back down to the cemetery.
The hotel.
Hotel. It's only about 200 yards. I guess it's probably big saw logs in it now, as long as that's been.
Huh. I didn't realize that. Now, were there people living up the valley, across the creek,
Yep.
all up through there too?
All them farms, them guys had those farms all the way up through there.
Goads were one of them, huh?
Gold, Dave Crouch.
That Crouch you just mentioned, we just saw his headstone in the cemetery there. I never heard of him before, knew of him. Do you remember anything about the train bridges that crossed on up in there? I guess there was just one?
Just one. It was a big long one.
How far up through there was it?
Between Golds and where you turn into the old house where Charlie and them farm.
Okay. Yep.
It's down about 200 yards. Water
Huh.
everywhere. It wasn't deep. I mean, it wasn't shallow. Now you can't get your feet wet nowhere.
That's funny why it's that way.
You want to go gigging, just get in your boat and take off. You big 8, 10-foot water places.
You don't ever remember them running more than one train at a time, do you? in and out of there?
No, they had four. They had four well out. I mean,
Sheds or like a roundhouse? Was it a roundhouse?
roundhouse had four of them. Had four different engines. One of them, they didn't run too much, and they get these guys on Saturday getting a bunch of turkeys. They kill for 4 or 5 of them in the wintertime. They bring it back, hang them by the neck in that old engine in the, what do you call it? Big round thing,
Boiler?
boiler.
To hide them.
Hide them. Go down and get them. They want them.
Because of game wardens.
Yeah, old Milk Gary down here was a game warden. He'd come up there. And, well, Dad was a barber in the house. Dad had one room in the house. He barbered, cut hair.
See, I never.
He come up and try to get Dad to tell him who's killing them turkeys. Dad said, well, we're like you bootleggers. We don't tell on one another.
Now, did anybody ever up and move away from Sligo that you knew real well and that you were sorry they left? Anything like that you remember?
Well, all of them. A lot of them was neighbors. Of course, when they left, they went everywhere.
Went all directions. Some of them moved to Salem, probably.
Well, so I know of some, Bud Jamison, Louis Jamison, and I think, I don't know where House Right went,
Yeah, there's house rights in the cemetery up there.
but some of them had cars, and I know Louis Jamison, they had cars. I think at that time, the old Overland, that what they call them, old?
Yeah, they were Overlands.
Now you don't even ever see an old one.
Yeah, hard to come by. Would you say that most of the people that lived in and around Sligo, was it a good life? Were they happy?
Oh, yeah.
There was lots to do, wasn't there? Wasn't there a lot of stuff at the church and in schools? And
There's always something to go to if you wanted to go.
you had dances.
Well, we didn't. They did up on the highway. Most of it was out there at that time was at, is it Gano between here and Salem?
Yeah, yeah,
Gano.
yeah. That was kind of a saloon or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a rest or a hotel too. They got a lot of rooms used for.
Yeah,
It's still there.
yeah.
Some old woman lives in it. Yeah, I noticed the big truck driver was in there once on load of stuff.
Now, Yuns lived here after you came back from Flat River? Or where did you move from to move to this place?
Flat River,
Okay. But he was only in Flat River for a year or two.
about 2 years.
Okay.
After he broke his, well, I think his foot. Something,
In the mine?
yeah. At that time, Dad had a Model T Ford. We'd come from Flat River up here about once a month. Then after he broke his foot, then he come home, I'd have to pull it in the garage for him. And I pulled in and I forgot one day, them Model T, when you took the foot off the clutch, you throw it in high. I got in there and took my foot off the clutch and I went right on through.
You said you didn't have antifreeze. You had to drain the radiators in your cars every night, huh?
Oh, yeah.
In the wintertime. You go down the creek and get water and put back in them or something?
You had to carry water if you got any. They finally come up with, I think they called alcohol or something like that.
Well, maybe.